We know that productivity is very important in today's workplace, and there's a wonderful book out that you have got to see. Matter of fact, I've got the author on the line right now who wrote this book. Thank God it's Monday. Roxanne Emmerich joins us right now, as you can see, from her offices in Minneapolis. Roxanne, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Terry.
And I'm fascinated with this. I got to ask you here. Thank God it's Monday. Come on. It doesn't seem like that's right. Usually it's thank God it's Friday or whatever. And you're talking about work, too. I don't know. I'm having trouble with this. Please explain it to us.
Well, we've all been in that thank God it's Friday mode. And that's okay. We could also thank God it's Friday. But there's something about Monday, getting that energy going that says, I kick butt and I take names and I make things happen and I feel good at work. But part of it has to do with the psychology we have for work, because most of us come to work on our first day energized and excited to make things happen, and then we find out that we work with dweebs everywhere,
yes,
Terry, and these people who don't do what they're supposed to do and are untruthful, and people who gossip and people who whine and have excuses. And all of a sudden, because they're shooting wildly for mediocrity, we lower our standards and we forget what we're up to. And it takes the fun right out of it.
Yeah, that's true. So what in your book, which I read and I love it, by the way, I really think if you're in business and you've got people you're working with, including other people, if you're even by yourself, this is an excellent book. Roxanne, you did a great job on it. And you talk about the importance of having fun, that fun is not frivolous. Now, where we grew up, it was you don't have fun at work. You know, there's work and then there's fun. You somehow have blended the two together and even find companies that make a profit. Talk to me about that. That's important.
When I first started my very first job, I thought they had a memo that went out before I got there that said, check your personality at the door. I mean, no one was having any fun. And for the last 20 years, I've been working with all kinds of industries, but primarily the banking industry. And we take banks that are low performers or even high performers, and we radically change their results. And some that hadn't grown more than 2% a year grow 35% in the month after we work with them, simply because they start to understand that it's about setting these massive goals and knowing how to celebrate every step along the way. And most important, getting rid of the dysfunctional behaviors, because with those, nobody can be sane and get anything done.
Yeah, that's true. So what you're saying is having fun in the workplace, even in banks, really contributes to the bottom line. Now, you've worked in the banking environment and we know that's very conservative. You know, you do things the right way, you dress up, and you look kind of like a grown-up and everything.
Eyeballs, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me, does this work in banks? And give me some examples.
It absolutely works in banks. We just had a bank we worked with a couple months ago that couldn't get deposits, and they got 10% in deposit growth of the entire size of the bank that's been around for 111 years. I mean, and they were in a struggle to get it. It's a simple little thing. We've had banks that were in the trouble with FDIC who are now in the very top 100 safest banks in the country, and have had powerful results. It's an absolute bottom line issue. When you take 37% of a manager's time dealing with dysfunctional behavior, and you start to get that back because people do what they say they're supposed to do, and they start, they stop the gossip and they start patrolling each other to stop the dysfunctional behaviors, it's a huge bottom line issue. And during times like this, who can afford not to deal with this stuff?
Yeah, that's a very good point, because we find that that's really making an impact on the bottom line. As a matter of fact, one of the things you talk about is Southwest Airlines and what they've done right. We've seen that kind of things. What things have you seen that Southwest does that's particularly good for any business?
Well, it's always the same thing. They keep it simple and they keep it fun. And what's amazing is the Gallup says that 34 cents out of every payroll dollar is lost due to disengaged employees. Southwest doesn't have that. They don't put up with that stuff. They keep people motivated, keep people having fun, and they expect massive, massive results for them. But nobody's complaining, oh, you're working me too hard. They love and are energized by that whole bring it on attitude, as opposed to, oh, here's why we can't, and I'm overwhelmed, and all that language stuff that gets in the way at your typical company. Here's a company that over a 30-year time period, they're the top performing stock in the country in the airline industry, which is kind of interesting. They must not have gotten the memo to file bankruptcy every few years. But here's a perfect example of it doesn't matter what's happening out there.
Right, exactly. You talk about that with employees and the importance of that, and I think you do an excellent job of that in the book. But one of the things that really caught my eye was here on page 119, chapter 18, where you talked about some important things of dealing not only with employees, but also with customers. I got to have you help me on this. You said, what do you really want for your customers? For them actually goes way beyond satisfaction. You talk about customer success, helping your customers to achieve success, which I think is a brilliant idea. Tell me a little bit more about that and what you mean.
Well, I think customer satisfaction is a language we've been talking about for the longest time, but it doesn't make any sense. I mean, who cares if a customer is satisfied? If they can find a better price someplace else, they'll leave you. But if you make your customers successful, they will beat a path to your door. They will bring all of their business, all of their friends, all of their relatives. Everything they have will come your way, and that's good for the bottom line and also for the top line. And so, we use the wrong language in business when we talk about customer satisfaction. Also, nothing gets people more motivated than really caring that customers win, as opposed to just doing the methodology on a day-to-day basis to move through the pieces.
Yes,
what fun is that?
Exactly. It's a very good point. So I think it's great. Well, it really is an excellent book. It's an easy read. It's something you can read. I read it in just about an hour. Very good book to read. And it's something that we can use if you've got 1 employee, 0 employees, or if you've got 100 million employees. The same principles apply. And Roxanne, what's the best way for someone to find out about this book and get more information on it?
I'd recommend they go to the Thank God It's Monday site. They'll also, for free, get a Monday morning audio every week that shows them how to make the dysfunctional behaviors go away and how to be in charge of their organization and their own destiny. So anybody who doesn't like their job, they need to have this book.
Excellent. So that website is thankgoditsmonday.com?
That's correct, thankgoditsmonday.com.
Very good. And the book is available where?
It's available everywhere, Barnes & Noble, the airport stores. It's now, it'll be in every store by May 19th, but it's currently just about every place. It hit the number 14 on the business bestseller list last week, so it's on the way.
Very good. Well, Roxanne Emmerich, you have done a marvelous job with this and many other things in life as an author, a professional speaker, person whose background is in banking and many other industries, very successful. A lot of good wisdom, a lot of good information there. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks so much, Terry.